DMV Radio. I'm Jennifer Dooley, and you're listening to West Virginia Division of Motor Vehicles podcast, Licensed to Innovate. West Virginia Division of Motor Vehicles strives to be an efficient agency, an innovative agency, and above all, a welcoming agency. On episode 7 of Licensed to Innovate, we're going to be talking scams. We have an investigative section here in the DMV, and Shane McComas will be joining us to talk about that, a little bit about what they do, a little bit about how you can avoid scams, and all those good things that keep honest people happy working at the West Virginia DMV. And after the break, we're going to check in with Harvey for some DMV news. It's all coming up on License to Innovate. Good morning, Shane. Welcome to the podcast.
Good morning, Jennifer. How are you today?
I'm very, very good. So when I asked you to sit down, we have a scam going around right now. Some members of the public had reached out to West Virginia DMV to let us know that they had received it, and hopefully none of them, fell for it, but people do. So
they do often, yes.
Let's start there.
Generally, what we see are scams where it's either related to toll on the West Virginia Turnpike or speeding tickets. You'll receive a text message saying that you owe for these offenses and that your license is going to be suspended unless you pay the fines. Unfortunately, we have had many people fall victim to this in our state. We cannot stop it. Most of these generate from overseas. We have been able to track that back through our investigative unit. And the best we can do is try to put out the information to the public to protect our citizens from these scams. We can also direct them to the Attorney General's office where they can file the proper paperwork and hopefully recoup some of the losses they may have suffered.
Over time, and you mentioned that it's turnpike tolls.
Yes.
And there was one where they were talking to us about unpaid tickets. Those are not even fees that DMV collects.
No, we do not collect any type of fees for moving violations, parking violations, or toll fees that related to the turnpike or the Parkersburg Bridge.
But it's car related, so I guess people kind of play on the fact that the public, they live with government, they need government. Government takes care of certain things in their lives and keeps them safe, helps with regulations, makes sure that they have what they need in a lot of ways. But as an individual, they don't always know exactly how government works or who does what, or to the public it's the government.
Correct. Usually we are all just lumped together, but each section of government has its own direction and own purpose. And here at the DMV, ours is to obviously continue to keep our drivers on the road, to keep vehicles available so that we can have transportation, which is especially important here in the state of West Virginia. We live in a rural state, so transportation is vital to all of our citizens. But protecting them from these type of scams that go out is one of the aspects that we always look at and try to get the information out there as much as possible, whether it be news media, social media, what have you. Unfortunately, some people do not always subscribe to certain social medias or things of that nature. We can't hit them all, but we try. As soon as we learn of one, we let it go out there to the public. We make them aware of it. And again, the West Virginia Division of Motor Vehicles will never text you about fees that are due to them. It will come to you via certified mail, and things of that nature.
That is one thing. Our news partners are always very helpful. Anytime we put out a press release, they pick it up instantly. They put it on their websites, and they're very, very helpful because they are, like us and with us in trying to make sure that people don't fall for this. Everybody knows somebody who has fallen for a scam.
Absolutely. And here at the West Virginia Division of Motor Vehicles, we are about our citizens. We would not exist without them, and they would not be able to travel our roads without us. So we have to have that communication back and forth to be able to provide for them.
In your investigative unit or section, how many people work in that section?
It's actually a newer unit
Okay.
combined from two older sections. It's actually investigations and compliance now. We have roughly 22 people in that section. It consists of our dealer inspectors who are responsible for ensuring that dealerships, whether it be for vehicles, trailers, boats, what have you, that they gain compliance with our state laws, legislative rules, and we maintain that compliance. That's one of the ways we ensure that our citizens are being protected. We also utilize that to promote a good business commerce within the state of West Virginia. We want our dealerships to be upstanding dealerships. Again, transportation is vital to our state. We have some great inspectors out there. They're doing great work. That's not to say that we don't find violations from a dealership on occasion. Most of them, 99%, are simple mistakes, which we can go in and help them correct and put them back on the right path or assist them to getting on the right path if need be. And that's our true objective. Our investigators, not a lot is known about our investigative unit. This is where more of your fraudulent type of activities with motor vehicles are investigated. Everything from what's called title or lien washing, where certain brands such as a salvaged vehicle or reconstructed is on a title and they want that taken off to sell it at a higher price. Also, we had deal with some fraudulent identities and work with the AG's office and Office of Inspector General's office on those type of issues as well.
You mentioned a lot of partnerships with other people, other agencies, other units. Within state government, that is very helpful overall. Who are some of the folks you work with other than, you said AG's office? Obviously law enforcement, probably.
Definitely law enforcement, both state, local, and federal. You have to understand that the state of West Virginia, we are governed under federal laws as well. So we have to work with NHTSA, National Highway Transportation Safety Administration. We also work with the Secretary of State's office. We have had instances where we have assisted with the Department of Health and Human Resources. Various agencies throughout the state can contact us for various reasons, whether it be a photo or just some general information that is open to the public themselves. Of course, there are legalities, and we make sure that we follow all those legalities. We do have legal resources here to ensure that our public's information is protected and only granted to those individuals having that need to know.
Just listening to you talk, it sounds like your unit has a great amount of concern for people, and just making sure that they can buy a car safely, they can drive a car, their car being totally legal, and that they're not falling prey to any of the folks that aren't.
Well, government should be by people, and we do take that role very seriously. It's the commissioner always says it's not just driver's license and license plates. Our commitment, our goal is to our citizens of the state of West Virginia. They are our customers, whether they be an individual or whether they be one of our businesses here in the state. We have to look at this as together, combined. We can do a lot of things. We can assist our other state agencies and our citizens in fostering a productive climate here in the state of West Virginia. But we have to do it together, and we have to watch out for each other. That's what our investigative unit does. That's what our compliance unit does. We're out there working to ensure that the citizens are being afforded as much protection as we possibly can. There are learning curves. The laws change. We have to stay up on the current legislative rules. any changes that would come from the federal government, and different things of that nature.
One of the things that when I was looking at this most recent text scam that we got, and I got the wording of it, and the scammer had actually said, according to West Virginia code, whatever, and threw some numbers out there. So it looked like they were trying to prey on the fact that it's the end of the legislative session. There's so much going on. People don't know what laws just passed. Not all of them. They may be following this one or that one, but just the numbers, the letters. It really looked like it could have been something real if you didn't specifically know that we don't deal with the tickets or
That is
violations.
correct. Fortunately, all of the state of West Virginia's code is available on the internet or at the state's websites. You can go on there and pull up any of our codes and review them. Most of them, except right here at the end of the legislative session, before updates, will be current and up to date. You have to grant a little bit of period there for them to update it once new legislation is implemented. But that being said, they are always free to call. If you're very unsure of a scam, call. And we want to make it very clear that if they receive those texts and they click on that link, that is not bringing you to any type of official site. That will actually take you to another site that is hidden. And that's where they can start to garner information from you as well as fraudulently take your money.
And they're playing on fear. Obviously, they have a list, in that text, everything. I mean, the kitchen sink. They threw spaghetti at the wall to see what would stick. They basically said, you'll lose your license plate, your, credit score. I mean, just it really played on people's every fear.
It does.
Litigation. Most folks are scared of even if it's for maybe a good reason, but they're scared to, go around those settings and all that. It's just a big cloak of mystery. And they kind of just threw just kind of like listing, like, whatever your fear might be, it might happen if you don't click this and pay this, and just.
It really, when you read it, it's not official. Any type of information or correspondence that you get from the West Virginia Division of Motor Vehicles, it will be presented to you in an official manner. There may be an explanation of what could occur if something does not happen or if you do not complete certain items, but that's an explanation of.
Yeah.
And it will also provide you who to contact if you need more information. We will not leave our citizens just hanging out there with no one to ask the answers to. I mean, that is our job, is to provide you answers and to help you. It's not here to hinder you or become a burden. Again, we have to follow the laws, and we are very adamant that we will be that agency that upholds what needs to be done, and we will assist our citizens in accomplishing that.
And of course, they can always call our 800 number, 800-642-9066, anywhere in the state, and talk to someone with the DMV, real DMV, or, if they stop by. Our agents are always willing and able and to patiently answer questions, to make sure they have everything they need and all the info they need.
Oh, absolutely. We have some great agents working throughout the state, some very knowledgeable agents, and we encourage them to always try to provide the proper information. And if they don't know, to ask. Tell our customer, I don't know that answer. The key is, when you don't know, is you will learn that, and you will then be the better agent for it.
Shane, how many years have you been in this type of work overall?
I'm currently the executive administrator, and I've held this position roughly a year now.
Okay.
Prior to that, I was with Civil Rights Compliance with the Department of Transportation.
Okay.
I was in that position roughly 3 years. I was a manager there when I left. Prior to that, I was a firefighter paramedic. I retired as a captain in the Charleston Fire Department, and I also did 23 years of military service. So I've worked with people my whole life, and I believe that is the key element of what drives myself and what I've found here at the Division of Motor Vehicles as well.
Always in roles where you protect people and where you're serving.
Always.
What was your impression of DMV as a workplace when you came over here about a year ago?
I was actually very surprised. Everyone hears horror stories about the DMV, and most people's impressions come from the regional offices, which is really the backbone of the Division of Motor Vehicles. Great improvements have been done over the years, offering different things from scheduling appointments to making documentation available online, kiosk availability, and what have you. Our agents out there are tremendous assets for the public, avoiding schemes against the state, such as those title washings and things of that nature. That's usually some of the first ones that receive it and notify us about that. Again, just the rumors, but when I came here, I found the environment to be extremely welcoming and friendly, supportive. Supportive as in they expect you to do your job, but they will give you the tools and the backing to do that job.
I found that to be true as well.
Yes.
And what you're saying about the agents, of course, people come in and they've gathered documents and they're getting something done, whether maybe they just got a vehicle and they're trying to get the title put into their
Sure.
name, or they're trying to renew something. I've found our agents to be, when I've come in on that end and set and took a number, and it's a shorter wait and they get you there, and they're always very, very happy to explain everything.
Yeah.
So what would you say to somebody who's considering joining us here at the DMV as an employee, or your section in particular?
I would say apply. We are in the business of developing employees. My particular section, I want to develop long-term employees here. I believe in training, education, and I foster that environment. I encourage them to come take part of the benefits that the state offers, including the tuition reimbursement, to gain higher education if needed, or if that was your desire. We attend various classes and conferences throughout the United States to polish our skills as both inspectors and investigators. We are constantly looking at our processes, and with this unit being combined together, that has been a challenge to find those processes that we need to hone or improve upon, or maybe just completely revamp if necessary.
Shane, working with your team, and I'll just add one more thing before I let you go, but what impresses you most about the way your investigations and compliance unit works on a daily basis?
What impresses me most is how they approach their work. They are very much go-getters. They are accomplishing what we're being asked of them. They are inputting improvements, I should say recommending improvements to how we can better perform our duties and our jobs. Again, we're learning constantly, and we have to be able to change and adapt. As you said, technology is changing. We've just gone through a phase where we've gone through updating our equipment. We have our inspectors on the road constantly throughout the state. They have large geographical areas with numerous dealerships. There's roughly 1,500 dealerships in the state of West Virginia that have to be inspected, and we attempt to do that at least biannually. So they're constantly on the road submitting inspection reports. And again, 99% of those inspection reports come back great. Probably 0.9% come back as errors that we can go in and assist with. And that is our main goal on that. And our inspectors are great about being able to provide the information to the various dealerships and so forth. And then again, the 0.1% is where we have to do further investigations or send investigators on.
So me on this end, if I'm looking for a vehicle, I'm overwhelmed by how many dealers there are, because I have to check this one and see if they have what I want, and then check that one and check that one, and you check 10 of them online before you ever go to one.
Mm-hmm.
Now. But that's some kind of quality, that's some kind of a safety net a little bit. If they're just making an error, any error that's not corrected gets repeated, and then you can't find the real information and all that. So it sounds like a pretty good service you guys provide.
We're trying, and we're trying to improve every single day. We're looking for ways to make it faster, easier, and more economically sound. Again, when you upgrade your equipment, that does have a cost factor with it, which relates back to the citizen. Preventing scams and fraud, fraudulent activities. A lot of times people feel there are no victims, but there are victims. It's our citizens here in the state, and that comes with increased fees, increased taxes, and so forth. So we try to battle that. The commissioner, the deputy commissioner, they have tasked us with doing that, and so we are trying very hard to put together the type of division or unit that they desire.
They work together really well too. The commissioner and deputy commissioner, and all the directors. They always take the time to talk to everybody to keep the DMV functioning. Keep information flowing. It's a nice atmosphere. I'm liking it too.
It really is, and that is key to efficiency within the government, is information exchange. So many times we're not sure where the information goes, and we don't want to reach out to ask where we should send that information, and that does not help us or the citizens get the task accomplished. I found that being more open, as you said, the directors are very communicative. It pays dividends when you can ask a vehicle services questions or reference with legal, driver services, issues with CDLs, things of that nature that have to be answered. That's not your specialty, but luckily we have those individuals within this division that is their focus, and they can provide that information for you.
There's some place for everyone at DMV for sure.
Absolutely.
Before we go, I want to circle back on the scam that's going around right now. Mm-hmm. People, if anybody receives it on their phone, and of course if they listen to the podcast, they know it's a scam.
Yes.
But if they're just talking to their friends and family on the weekend, they go over and make some bologna sandwiches and sit out in the yard with their feet up. It's going to be warm and whatever. Enjoy the spring. For people who aren't in contact with social media, or people who maybe don't listen to the news as much, what would you have them kind of spread the word about how to recognize a scam?
Again, first and foremost, the West Virginia Division of Motor Vehicles, and as best of my knowledge, most government agencies will not notify you of official information that needs to be exchanged or something that needs to be taken care of. You may sign up for a reminder to renew your registration. Of course, we'll send reminders to you, but we are not going to send official requests or notifications via text. It will come to you via mail. That's the first indicator. And the second indicator is take a very good look at that text message or that email. Look at those URL addresses and let your family know, especially here in the state of West Virginia. We have an older population, very near and dear to my heart. and let them know. Those are usually the ones that are not in contact with as much social media and what have you, that these scams are occurring. If they question anything about it, let them call us. We'll be happy to assist them.
And we're at 800-642-9066. We've been talking to Shane McComas. Shane, thank you for sitting down and sharing this info with people today.
Anytime.
We're going to take a quick break, and we'll be back on the other side with Harvey in the news. Stay with us.
Hey you, slow down in work zones.
With sunny days in the forecast and smooth roads around the state, motorcyclists will be out in increasing numbers enjoying the country roads, the hills, the curves, and the breathtaking views around West Virginia. All drivers are reminded to listen, look twice, and pay attention to the task at hand at all times when driving through our beautiful state. As West Virginia welcomes motorcyclists, let's keep everyone safe on the country roads that take us home.
I'm Harvey, here to bring you your West Virginia Division of Motor Vehicle news. West Virginia DMV is reminding parents and teens about the Graduated Driver's License Program. The GDL program gives young drivers time to grow their skills and learn to drive throughout their teen years. If you are 15 to 17 years old, attending school, and responsible enough to apply for your Level 1 instructional permit, then this program is for you. Visit our website, dmv.wv.gov, and search for Graduated Driver's License for more information. Go ahead and get started today. Also in the news, West Virginia Division of Motor Vehicles is gearing up to join our Department of Transportation sister agency, the West Virginia Division of Highways, in support of Safe Work Zones for National Work Zone Safety Awareness Week. The third week of April, West Virginia Division of Motor Vehicles employees and guests who wear orange are showing their dedication to driving safely in every work zone every time. As we close out this month of March, April is right around the corner. So take a look at your closet and begin thinking orange. It's a bright visual reminder that each driver is responsible for work zone safety, not just the workers behind the cones. I'm Harvey, and that concludes our news break. Stay safe, and I'll talk to you soon.
Thank you, Harvey, for always keeping us updated. And to anyone who missed it, episode 5 featured Harvey and the reasons he comes to work every day to solve everyone else's problems. He had a great answer to that question, and you can find it again on episode 5 on our YouTube and Facebook pages. West Virginia Division of Motor Vehicles is an agency which is evolving daily. We're always working to innovate and make everything we do work better for the West Virginians we serve. Every state agency is a collection of people, and it really does make a difference when those people are diligent and driven to work out the details of good ideas and put them into practice. Keep checking back to License to Innovate podcast as we continue to talk to those people one by one and bring you what's happening next with your DMV. Recent innovations you've heard about, like mobile ID, will continue to be followed up with more and more. So stay tuned to License to Innovate as we continue to hear from the people. And if you have ideas for subjects or questions to be answered, send them to me at jennifer.j.dooley@wv.gov, and we'll dive into those topics. You are listening to Licensed to Innovate. Until next time, safe travels.